Hello, my name's Samantha McIntyre, and my final presentation topic is going to be over anxiety disorders. So, anxiety disorders are characterized by worrying, over-worrying, and the fear of being rejected or fear of something extreme happening. For example, some people will not drive because they have a fear of getting into accidents. And then you've got testing in schools, STAR test, to where you've got students who are overstressed, overwhelmed because of this test, and because they think if they don't pass that, they won't go to the next grade level, that it'll hold them back. And a lot of students before a test have what we call test anxiety, which sometimes some of the students, if they do have more than just anxiety, can typically symptoms can become worse. I found that chapter 13, talking about anxiety disorders, really made me think about how I can learn more to help my students and myself out. 3 vocabulary words that I would choose that relate to my topic are stress, reinforcement, and etiology. Because without etiology, we don't know the causes, and etiology is a cause and development of the disorder. So without that, we wouldn't know the developments of whoever's disorder. Some examples of anxiety that I want to talk about today are OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. I want to talk about social anxiety, and GAD, which is generalized anxiety disorders. Okay, so OCD is going to be for the people who certain things disrupt their everyday living life. For example, something not being even, or something being out of place, or not lining up correctly how they're used to seeing it, and it will bother them really, really bad. Then you have social anxiety, to where you've got a person who is sometimes intrinsic, not always, but I see a lot of intrinsic students with social anxiety. Avoidance of social gatherings is one symptom. I see it a lot with group work, with students not wanting to work in groups because they're worried about what others will think of them. They're worried if they'll be rejected, if people will think that what they say is stupid, and then it'll turn on them and they'll start thinking that they really are stupid, or whatever the case is. And it's hard to see as a teacher, and so I want to help with that. And then you have generalized anxiety disorders, where it's not just your everyday life, because everybody has anxiety. It comes along hand in hand with stress. Life is hard. It can suck sometimes. But GAD is for someone who is over the top, worried, over worried, with schoolwork or work, to where it's affecting them dangerously. It can get to a point that's life-threatening if it's not treated somehow. If that's therapy, writing in a journal, whatever. It gets to be too much to where people can't handle it. And that's when suicide comes into play. Alright, so I will post a video, and the video is gonna show you how students are gonna feel when testing with their anxiety. It's gonna show you an example of anxiety, and I think it clearly pertains to my topic, because it's one of the causes of anxiety disorders, or at least one of, especially in school, a way to figure out, do I have an anxiety disorder? Do I need to go get help? And that's where teachers come into play. So I want everybody to learn from this video that if you see something, say something. Not always is it going to be visible. You'll see a lot of deep breaths like that. If you notice something, try to just give a positive comment. Try and be nice and help. So my social responsibility for anxiety disorders is going to be teaching. Like I said, if you see something, say something, because it can be life or death sometimes. My personal opinion about anxiety disorders are that they are very, very real. I think many people develop them over a time of growing up and dealing with life, stressors, and school, and financial relationships. It's everywhere. But I think what happens is people don't realize it until it all comes together, and then they realize they can't handle it. And that's when you start realizing, I may have an anxiety disorder. With GAD, it's more generalized, so it's not a long-lasting. There can be treatment for it. You can journal, you can do meditation, like the videos we did in the discussion. You can find an outlet. And I just want everyone to know that it's okay. My personal experience with anxiety disorders is yesterday, actually. I was in a meeting at work and we were going over school shootings, and I had already been very overwhelmed by presenting this video, but I don't know if maybe seeing the school shootings and thinking about my school and students just kind of set it off the top. But I started feeling my heart race, my foot started twitching, tapping, shaking real bad. And then as soon as I felt my throat close, as soon as I felt my throat tightening, I knew it was time to go. I walked out and went to the break room, and as soon as I got there, I started hyperventilating. And in the moment, I didn't even know why. It was very strange. Afterwards, I had some help calming down, thought I was good, went back to the meeting. Not even 5 minutes later, it just started happening again. And I don't know, but I'm going to have to do some digging into this with my psychiatrist. But sometimes you don't know the symptom, but not the symptom. You don't know when it's going to happen. But I think it's good to talk about it, especially with somebody, because maybe if you can get down to the source, you can learn to adjust your daily living or whatever you plan on doing that day to help you stay organized. But that's it. Thank you so much. Enjoy that video.